This is Joe Randa trying to get on with Kelly.
Joe, how you doing, stud man?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm out of my mind pumped today because finally the big day has arrived.
It has arrived.
You know, I'm thinking we're 3 games into this. We're in first place now. Got a couple of wins. Some people are calling us the best bullpen in baseball. Seems like the starters are on. Is this finally our time in the Central?
Well, I think the timing is definitely right. I mean, you look at the other teams and you look what their strengths and weaknesses are, and there's a couple of the teams have some good offenses, but you know, rotation-wise, I think we match up pretty well with the division. And you know, those horses, those top 3 guys, are really going to set the tone. And if they can throw like they did in Chicago, I think good things are going to happen.
It seems General Manager Dayton Moore seems to have just a very simple formula, and it came together rather quickly. I think the $74 million payroll didn't hurt matters. I certainly wish they'd had that back when you were playing. But,
well, you know, that's part of the deal with the Royals. I mean, it's a gradual increase of getting the right pieces and putting the guys where you feel that they're fit. And you know, really the thing that stands out in my mind is the way that Dayton has built up the minor league side,
right,
and it's created competition on the minor league side. And look what it's done in spring training, the competition that was in spring training, which resulted in guys having career spring trainings, you know, and trying to hopefully carry that over into the season, and being able to send a guy like Hoshaver and Bannister down to AAA to get their innings to pitch and fill those spots at the major league level instead of forcing those guys to maybe not be ready at the major league level. And that's kind of where we've been before, and now we're able to do that and put some guys up there that can allow these guys to get some more seasoning down in AAA and in AA. And you know, it creates a higher payroll, but it also creates depth in the organization.
Yeah, I think at one time before I moved here, the Royals were kind of known for having just the best farm, you know, teams and everything coming, and we've kind of gotten back to that, and that's where you have to be if you're going to be in Kansas City, you know.
Well, it's hard to overspend for free agents every single year to fill holes, and if you can build a strong system where you can plug those holes with guys who are ready at the minor league level, it makes it a little bit easier to maybe go out and spend and fill one hole and not 4 or 5. And
right,
that's kind of what they've had to do the last couple years. And the guys that they've brought in have been good additions. I mean, I don't think you can say I don't think you can ask for anything more than what Gil Mesh has brought.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, when they signed that contract, 5 years, $15 million, everybody's going, oh my gosh, what the heck was that?
People were laughing. That looking at hindsight, Dayton Moore. I think Dayton Moore is the right guy at the right time. Finally.
Yeah, and you know, I was a big Allard Baird fan. I mean, I think that, you know, Allard was a very hard worker and did a lot of good things too. But his hands maybe were tied a little bit more than Dayton's are. But Dayton has had a vision and has learned from one of the best organizations in baseball, the Atlanta Braves, and you know, he's got a mindset, and his mindset seems to be making sense. And you gotta, when you have a mindset, you gotta have everybody on board believing in it. And I think everyone believes in what he's doing.
Every kid, I think, certainly every guy, when you're a little kid, your dream is to grow up and play in a home opening day. Step back now that you've been out of the game for you know, a year or two here. What does that mean? What goes through your mind? Is that really as big? I mean, does the player just get, because you're all pumped up and ready to go, or is there a special meaning for the home opener?
Well, I always kind of looked at it as kind of like Christmas. You know, you get to come home to your fans, and you get to get it settled in your place, and you know, everything starts all over again. Last year gets put behind you. If you had a good or a bad year, it's put behind you. Spring training's put behind you, and you're starting fresh. And you know, there's just a smell in the air and the excitement in the air at opening day with the fans and all the celebrations, and it's really a really special time. Then the older you get, opening day kind of gets to be a little bit more chaotic. You know, a lot of guys are in routines now and eat at certain times of the day and take BP and kind of do soft toss and do their training. And opening day kind of breaks it up a little bit because they got stuff going on the field, and you got to go out for introductions, and
right.
You know, so it gets, the older you get in the game, the more opening day kind of is a little bit pain in the neck, but it's exciting, but it's a little bit more of a pain in the neck. The younger you are, it's just unbelievable atmosphere and time. But when you look back and when you're retired and you kind of look back and, man, you think about all those special moments on opening day, and It is a great day.
I saw George Brett on the news. He had not been to the new stadium. I went there for the opening on Sunday just to check it out. What do you think? Have you checked it out yet?
I'm like George. I have not been up there. I've seen some pictures and heard. I know some people that are doing some work up there, and they just say it's just unbelievable. It totally looks like a different place with the same feel.
The field itself, and I think the stands kind of have the same feel. The ballpark around it, it's because I was worried they were just going to slap a Band-Aid on it and say, "Ooh, here's our new stadium." It's impressive. It'll blow you away. I mean, you'll go, "What? What happened here?" It really is. I can't wait to see it there. Hopefully, I'll see you at the ballpark today.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot more space, and there's a lot more areas where you can kind of stand and grab something to eat or something to drink and still get to watch the game, and a lot of different angles, and that whole outfield experience is going to be really cool. I think those seats, that's a great idea with those seats in the outfield.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited because this is like the first full season I can sit at the ballpark and Twitter to my listeners. So, everything has changed. It's a completely different environment, but it'll blow you away. We're talking with former Royals third baseman Joe Randa, just a cool guy. And I know, Joe, we have people listening in Chicago. They were none too happy about the Royals' performance against the White Sox the last few days. And I just want to, if it weren't for Joe Randa and your charity tennis tournament, I would never have been able to say I beat a World Series MVP at tennis.
You're right.
So how about Jermaine? Yeah. Jermaine Dye was a breeze. He can swing a bat much better than a tennis racket. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, if you could do a nice little topspin lob over his head at the net, you're in good shape.
And another highlight, and again, being a radio guy, something I'll never forget, during the warm-up, I think it was you and me and George Brett and Zach Greinke on a tennis court together. And man, I didn't bring a camera. I'm a complete idiot. What was I thinking? But
that's a pretty good group right there. I mean, you take me out of the picture, it might get better. But
oh, no, trust me, I think you were any sport with you're swinging something or there's a ball involved, you're going to dominate it. So you were kind of a part of that Jermaine Dye, Johnny Damon, Carlos Beltran era. Do you guys even stay in touch anymore? Has everyone kind of drifted away?
Well, Johnny and I stay in touch. We talk every, couple months, text here and there, and, I'm sure I'll see him this weekend. And, Jermaine, we stay in touch. Mike Sweeney and I stay in pretty close contact. Carlos Beltran, not so much. Just playing against him, you'll go and talk to him and stuff. But
right.
Not so much. But, that year, 99 and 2000 and in 2001, with that group of guys we had on that team, was pretty unbelievable if you look back of what those guys have done in their careers. And,
right.
Sure would have been nice to play with those guys a little bit longer. I was fortunate enough to play a good length with Sweeney, but the rest of those guys, man, we had a pretty good crew, and everybody's turned out to have really nice careers. And Johnny is at the time really was at the second coming of George Brett,
right?
And it would have been nice for him to play a lot longer here in Kansas City. A lot of people blame him that he wanted more money, this and that, and there's two sides to every story, and the players always get to have the different side that sometimes they're not able to.
Yeah. Now that I've started my own web station, trust me, I'm all about the money. Go Johnny. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, Johnny wanted direction at that time. The Royals were it didn't really have an owner yet, and there was a lot of uncertainty with the payroll and things like that. And Johnny was at the stage in his career where he had a little bit of power to say, look, if I want to play somewhere for a long period of time, I want to make sure that there is a solid team on the field to be surrounded by, and that's really what his stance was. And he was a great teammate, and I always wish the best for him, except when he plays against the Royals.
For people listening, Joe Randa and Bethany Randa and family, you've made they may not know this, you've made Kansas City home, and I think that's a very cool thing. I mean, this seems you're part of the community now. And do you have any aspirations of getting involved with the Royals down in the future?
Well, I've done my last 3 years of being retired, including this year. I've gone to spring training and I've worked with minor league guys. Last year I went up and spent some time with Mike Moustakas up in Burlington when they moved him over to third base. And I went back out to spring training this year for 2 weeks and spent my whole time with the minor league guys. And this summer I plan on making some trips to the minor league facilities to spend some time with the guys. And my goal and my vision is definitely be part of this organization. I feel like it's one that I feel that I've been part of for a long period of time, and with me living here and being in the community, I feel it's a special place for me and my family. Yeah,
it's funny to hear you say, since I retired, Joe, you look like you're 20 years old, man. You certainly don't have George Brett's dermatologist.
Well, I guess I've always had that baby face, but I wish felt every day when I get out of bed like I looked, I tell you that.
Oh, but hey, I'm just saying, you're looking good, and I know you're an incredible athlete, and I look forward to maybe hitting some tennis. And you'll have to call occasionally, give me like a little baseball update or two. I know your wife, Bethany, she listens to the little web station here in the basement, so you definitely have a keeper there. Give her a big hug from me, and I appreciate your time.
All right, Kelly. Thanks, man.